Welcome back to Outdoor University, episode 2, nighttime crappies under the light. Okay, we are on the first quarter moon phase. I told you on the first video that we're going to follow the moon phase, so here's what we're going to do. We're back, we're in deep water, we're in 26 feet of water. The water temperature is 79 degrees. So we're going to get down there. We're going to try to locate some fish. We've been traveling this dam area, okay? We've located 4 or 5 different pods of bait, and the crappies were underneath of them. They were all at around 10 foot. As you can tell, we have nice blue skies today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can get some more fish. Phase 2, nighttime crappies under the light. Stay tuned. All right, let's take a minute and talk about, it's a little windy out here. Let's talk about when to start your light, okay? A lot of guys will start their light a little too early. What you want to do is you actually want a little bit of a period, okay, where that they are actually dark. It is, sorry guys, let's catch one. Where it's dark. I usually wait till as soon as the sun dips down below them trees, I'll give it about a half hour, and then I'll fire up the lights. I usually want to wait a couple minutes. I know it's kind of windy out here, guys. I'm sorry if the audio is kind of screwed up, but I like waiting, you know, a couple minutes, let them fish settle down. That way, you know, they're not just all of a sudden it's light and it's still staying light and it's still staying light. I want them to notice that transition from day to night, okay? So, always give yourself about a half hour or so. Caught him between my legs. Always give them about a half hour or so before you start that light up. All right, let's get back down there. It's starting to get about time. I'd like to take a minute and talk about weather when storm fronts come through and you get real high winds and that storm's right at the beginning of happening. A lot of times what happens is your predators will pick up. They'll start attacking, they'll start feeding real heavy. And the reason why is because the wind is blowing and it's making waves, which is causing noise down there, which is making it pretty much noisy. Fish have a lateral line that they hear with, and what happens is it makes a lot of noise, so them big predators can sneak right up inside of there, you know, without them little fish seeing them. There's one right there, little baby crappie. They sneak right up in there and they get in there and they can get close. You'll notice this with flatheads. Flatheads do it a lot. Large channel cats do it. Northern pike do it. Stripers and wipers also do it. Pike, stuff like that. Real large, big predators. Your bass will do that, but they'll only do it for a very short period of time. And it affects the crappies. So when that happens, downsize on your minnows and pay attention to your down rods. If you're in a lake with these sockets and muskies and stuff like that, pay attention to your down rods. Let's get baited back up. Let's get down there because we just fired up this light and I'm really excited about what's going to partake tonight. So we're going to get back down there. Cut. Nah, let me get, oh, look at this. This is a perfect time to talk about muskies. This is a pretty nice crappie with a huge muskie bite taken out of it. As you can see, these muskies, these fish school here all the time. You know, especially in summertime, they're very prevalent. This exact spot I ice fish too, and I do very well. Now these muskies, what they do is they stay underneath that school and they'll come up and hit just about anything. You've seen how big that crappie was. That was about a 10-inch crappie. And he had a big scar taken out of him, chunk taken out of him. So those muskies, they're down there. So don't be scared, guys, to get a big bait down there, man. Big baits catch big fish, all right? We're gonna talk a little bit more about these muskies and their behavior later on in the video. But right now, man, I'm just excited to get back down there. Let's get back down there. Military planes going over to the arsenal. I'd like to take a minute and thank our United States military for all you who served for our country so that we can sit out here and fish and have the freedoms that we do in this country. I thank you. Also, remember one thing, as these people fought for our freedom. So if you guys can, please donate to the Wounded Warrior Foundation. Thank you. Let's get back to fishing. 3, 2, 1. Let me get this fish in here. I want to take a minute and talk about logs. You've heard me say this before on many videos. I like to keep logs. We here at Outdoor University, we do it because we're on film. So we always keep logs, but even before I started filming, I would have a book. I would, write the barometric pressure, water temperature, where I was at, how deep was I, how deep was the fish caught, what was the fish caught on, what color it was on, stuff like that. If you go to outdooruniversityonline.com, all one word, we'll have a paper for you with all this information that can be filled out very easily, okay? Where you can just print them off. Keep them in your boat. Keep sleeves of them. That's what I like to do, because if you keep those logs, what you can do is you can always go back on those logs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you can come up with a really, really good game plan for the time of year that you choose to fish. Whether or not you're taking your buddies out, whether or not you want to take your children out, take your wife out. It's always a good thing, because you can guarantee that that person that doesn't always fish, that angler that doesn't always fish, that you're trying to turn on to fishing, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to catch fish and they're going to have a lot of fun. One thing that I love about fishing is the camaraderie between guys, girls, whatever, just out there doing it. Let's get back down here and let's get some more fish. I want to take a minute and talk about glow-in-the-dark jigs. Let me show you what I'm using here. I'm fishing the outskirts of the light, and all I'm using is a regular twister tail, glow-in-the-dark. I'm charging it on my, on my lights that I'm using, my down lights, and I'm throwing to the outskirts. Okay, all I'm doing is casting out to the outskirts of the light, because I find sometimes when you put a lot of pressure on a spot, these fish catch on. So I'll use glow-in-the-dark jigs, or I'll use glow-in-the-dark pinmans with slip bobbers at the depth that I know they're at, and I'll throw them to the edge of the light. And then I'll angle my light a little bit to shine out that way a little bit so I can see my bobber. Or, dang, missed one. Or what I'll do is I'll just use glow-in-the-dark bobbers. And I always, seem to, dang, I almost ripped my jig off. Let me fix this jig. But all I'm doing is I'll fan cast glow-in-the-dark jigs until you find them, because they're not going to be everywhere. Okay, they're going to be on the outskirts of the light, but they'll be more concentrated in one area than another area. And there's usually a reason for that. And if you pay attention to the environment around you, that's surrounding you, it's going to tell you a lot. Nature will tell you a lot. It'll tell you what it wants you to do. Okay? The fish is going to dictate the way your night goes. You're not going to dictate the way your night goes. The fish is going to dictate the way your night goes. And the only way that you're going to be a successful angler, okay, is to be able to read that. Okay? And once you can read that, then you can be successful. And being able to read that is knowing number one, behavior, okay? We're gonna talk a little bit about behavior, not just crappies behavior, but you know, behavior in general. I always say this, guys, and you hear me say it a lot. Behavior equals location, okay? If you know the behavior of the fish, ooh, just missed one again, you'll know where they're at, okay? What they're doing, what they like, stuff like that. Then you can take a general game plan off of a contour map and come up with a general game plan for the water. A lot of guys just drive around with their fish finder and say, oh, look, there's some fish. Well, it's a lot better if you come up with a general game plan. Look at your contour map, especially if it's a new lake. Try new spots, research and development. Don't always go to the same spot because you'll just kill that spot. If you don't know much about contour maps, go ahead, log on to Outdoor University, and you will see that we have a contour map on how to read contour maps. There's a general one there. There's a really good one on Outdoor University online. But there's one on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. And another thing about that YouTube channel, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. But remember, the outskirts of the light, don't ever underestimate the outskirts of the light, because not all the fish are concentrated under your light, okay? Your school of minnows is going to be too big, and the crappie that are following that school of minnows is going to be too big too to do that. Man, look at that. I keep smacking my jig. I upsized on my jig a little bit because I'm trying to find the guard crappies. I'm trying to find a larger crappie. That's why I'm fishing on the outskirts, and I'm jigging way down deep right now because I'm trying to find the larger crappies. Because I caught one earlier, as you guys seen, it had a big bite mark taken out of it, and that indicates to me, and it was fresh, that indicates to me that there is a predator down there. Man, he's whacking this thing. There's a lot of little ones up top, but once you get down below them, that's where the bigger ones are. There's a damn muskie right there. Look at that. Right there he goes. Right there, Jack. Jack.
Wow.
Let me see if I can get him with this jig. Did you see that? That was a nice muskie. That was like a 40-inch.
I don't know if you guys at home watching this on your phones or computers can see that, but...
All right, man, we got to start. All right, guys, I got to get my down rods ready, and I want to freshen up all my baits. So, that was a nice fish, and it's about that time for the muskies. We're going to talk about what time they usually come in for us, and when we find the success. But we'll get back with you in a minute. I'm going to show you guys another little trick I like to use for the outskirts of the light, because we've been talking a lot about the outskirts of the light. I take these glow-in-the-dark twister tails. They're real cheap. And what I'll do is I'll just cut a little piece off like that, okay? And I'll take that piece and I'll come over here to just my regular hook, just my regular true turn hook and split shot. And what I'll do is I'll come through big side towards the bottom, and I will come all the way up, make sure it's centered, and I will come all the way up right through the middle of it, and I will hook it like that, okay? Then I will slide it to the tip of the knot, all right? Then what I like to do is I'll take a minnow. We're using bullhead minnows tonight. I'll take a minnow, all right? And I like to hook them through the tail because it jiggles this thing, all right? Then I'll hold them up to the light. Let me hold them up to the light. I don't want to blind you guys. Hold on here. We'll charge it. And then what I'll do is I'll throw to the outskirts of the light like this. Okay. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, and then I'll give it a reel, okay? Then I'll do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll give it another reel, okay? 1, 2. It's got 10. I think you took my minnow. 3, 4. Then I'll give it another reel. All right. Got my minnow. A lot of times when they hit it, that'll slide down. Make sure you always slide that thing back up. Okay. I like to put it right at almost on the line and then just push it all the way down. That way when they do hit it, it doesn't always go down. Get another minnow. Keep watching my muskie rod. We just had it go off and he tangled it up. You can see that blooper on the Facebook page, guys. I'll hook him to the tail. I always charge every single time. I'll charge it up. Then we'll take them. All right. We'll throw, we'll cast over. All right, to the outskirts of the light. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and then I reel it. And the reason why is because I know the crappies are in up high tonight. All right, we've been looking at them with the underwater camera. I can see them with the down imaging, and I know they're up really, really, high. So what I'll do is I'll do a lot of just real smooth fall, and then reel, fall, and then reel. What happens is I find that if you do a lot of jigging with that, for some reason they just don't really. Took my minnow again. Took my minnow again. I find if you do a lot of jigging with that, it doesn't get as many bites for some reason. I don't know why. We here at Outdoor University haven't really figured it out yet. But we've been on this thing of the outskirts of the light this whole video because a lot of your, nicer crappies are hanging on the outskirts of the light. A lot of guys don't even mess with the outskirts of the light. They're satisfied with just yanking in the crappies that are underneath of them. Well, we talked about this in the last video. What happens with that when you start catching a lot of little ones and you throw them down there, that mood catches on. It's almost like a cancer. It catches on. They don't bite, and then everything stops biting. So I like to switch up to the outskirts of the light. Even when the bite's hot underneath you, I'll switch up. I'll give them fish a minute. Give them a break, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'll do, and I'll fish the outskirts of that light. Just like that. Usually catch some nice fish. Come on, guy. Right in the top of the mouth. Get them back in. Remember, outskirts of the light. It's a good little trick. I got these from Mark's Live Bait and Tackle. 330-296 fish. Dirt cheap. I think they were like 10 cents a piece or 25 cents a piece or something like that. He does ship. You guys can call him. Tell him what you want over the phone and he'll ship them to you. It's kind of hard to find the old school glow-in-the-dark stuff. But, the glow-in-the-dark plastics that you're willing to sacrifice. But if you've been fishing them and the fish tears them up, that's always a good thing to recycle them by doing that. Let's get back out here and catch some more fish, guys. One thing I want you guys to remember. Lost them. One thing I want you guys to remember also is don't condition these fish. And when I say don't condition the fish that you're fishing, that means don't just throw the same jigs at them. Just don't throw the same minnow and split shot at them. Switch up. I switched up to a little jig and spoon. As you can see, micro jig and spoons. They work really good. I'll switch up to different baits. And there's a reason why I do that, because I don't want these fish to get conditioned to the same thing. All right? Because you catch a lot of them that ain't size. And what you do is you hit it right as I dropped it in. And what happens is you catch a lot of them and you throw them back, and you know what I'm saying? And they remember that. That G2. They remember that. It's a memory gene. You know what I'm saying? So what you got to do is you got to switch up these baits. fish the outskirts of the light, fish under the light, switch up baits, try different things, especially when you get a really good school down there. That's a good time to hand tie some jigs. Maybe learn to hand tie something. Try some of your own stuff. Try different techniques. Try glow in the darks versus this. You will learn your lake. Every lake is different. Crappie are not crappie where they swim. Okay? You heard that old saying before. Crappie are crappie no matter where they swim. They do the same in every lake. That's not true. That's not true at all. Okay? I find that crappies on different lakes do different things. Yeah, they have the same general behavior, but what will dictate how they bite is the forage in a lake. That'll dictate their feeding pattern. Are they feeding on alewives? Are they feeding on bullhead minnows? Are they feeding on shad? Stuff like that. I find that lakes that the crappie primarily feed on shad, that is more of a difficult lake to fish, but it always has your really big crappies in it. Or your farm ponds where you have your golden shiners, and they always feed on them little baby golden shiners when they spawn. We're watching our rods, our musky rods. We just seen another one come up. They've been coming up and rolling at the light. So remember, change up on your jigs. Try different things. I got a micro jig on, and I also have a little bobber stop right there above my jig. And the reason why I do that is, number one, I do it in memory of this old man who taught me it. And number two, I do it because sometimes you'll feel them hit this. And you'll know when they hit this instead of this. You'll know the feeling. That means you're fishing too deep. Come up about a foot or whatever your bobber stop is. I like to keep it about 18 inches to 2 feet up, all right? Plus it just adds a little bit of extra attractant, because what will happen is, crappies will stack and one will see that bobber stop and he'll go for it. And then it triggers the one below to do a competition strike. Try to get to it first, and then the one below will hit this. So that's all I do is I just throw them little micro spoons out there. I love micro spoons. They catch a lot of things. You can catch bluegills, you can catch white bass, you can catch all kinds of stuff. Yellow perch, white perch, you can catch all kinds of stuff with these little micro spoons, and I find that they work really well for me. I like to switch up baits, and you guys got to remember that. Switch up, try different things, don't just listen to me, try things on your own, discover things, if you got a pattern that works, something that you're doing that's catching fish and that works, and you understand what you're doing, shoot us a video, man. We ain't got no problem with posting it. Shoot us a video, You can do that on outdooruniversityonline.com. And, ooh, that was a nice fish. That one was heavy. Shoot us a video. Shoot us a message. Stuff like that. Let us know the lakes you fish on. If you got something you want us to do, something you want us to try, shoot us a video. If you got a product that you're trying to promote and it works, shoot us a line. We'll check it out, We're not asking for free product, but we'll check it out, I'll give you whatever, money you want for it. We'll bring it to Outdoor University and see if it works, This brand is a brand that you're going to see, and it's going to grow a lot. Our main goal here at Outdoor University is to teach and educate. Number one, behavior. Number two, location. And number three, presentation. Because with all of those, you will be successful. And not only, what was that? What was that? Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. That was
something, I don't know.
Weird.
That looked like a little baby wiper.
Yeah.
It's impossible because they didn't stock them in here. But that's what it looked like, though. I don't know.
That was weird.
Anyways, let's get back to fishing. I talk too much. Let's see if I can catch one on this jig real quick. Watch this. Let's get down there. Let's try a little deeper on this jig. I've been catching them for a couple minutes now on this jig. They might be tired of it. All I'm doing is Snapping it up, letting it fall. Snapping it up, letting it fall. Same way you fish spoons. It's not a jig, I'm sorry guys. It's micro spoons. Same way you would fish buckshot or anything else. Whoop, he got off. Get back down there. See if we can get another one. And another thing I like to use that bobber stop for is I'll keep it down there. Right where I can barely see it. I'll bring it up to where I can see it and then I'll drop it where I can't see it. Because a lot of times you'll stay right down there. And, which, you know, depends on the clarity of the water. And another thing that you guys got to remember is usually the size of your spoon will dictate the size of the fish that you're catching. I'm using a kind of a small one because I like to refresh our muskie baits. We're using live crappie for the muskies. We're hooking them behind the dorsal with a 7/0 circle hook on a slip rig with a 2-ounce sinker. Right above the sinker, we are putting a split shot to hold it, okay? So it's almost a slip rig, but it won't slip, okay? But it is a slip rig, but just with the split shot there. And the reason why we do that is that way when we drop it, we can get a real accurate depth of where we're at. Or I'll tie a bobber stop on there, okay? And what I'll do is I'll drop down and I'll bring it up 3 feet. I like to fish from 2 to 4 feet off the bottom for these muskies. And what I'll do is I'll put that bobber stop to where it touches the top of that water. So when I know that that bobber stop's at the top of that water, I know that my crappie is swimming 2 to 4 feet, whatever I'm preferring at that time, which usually dictates clearer water, they'll drop. Dirtier water, the muskies will come up, okay? You guys got to remember that. So if you're not having real good clarity, come up. I've come up as high as 6 feet off the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Right now we're in 24 feet, 78 degrees of water temp, and we got, I'm guessing, 4 foot clarity down there. So remember that. Let's get back down and see if we can catch fish. Bring it up. One stop. One more thing I want to talk about is fishing the outskirts of the light and water clarity. I find fishing the outskirts of the light is way more successful in clear water than dirty water. Dirty water, they have a tendency to stay right under the light and real close to you. I think it's because the light penetration don't get down there. As a matter of fact, I know it's because the light penetration don't get down there as much. All right, but they'll stay right under there in dirty water. So remember that when you're trying to fish the outskirts of the light, stay right underneath of you, you know, if you're, you know, in dirty water. If you're in clear water, go ahead and fish the outskirts of the light. I just got nailed on that rod. Because what they do is that water won't show that, there's another one right here. That water won't show that light through. The penetration of the light with the silt in the water won't go as far. So they'll pull closer to you and stay right underneath of you. There's another one on that little micro spoon. Remember that, guys. That's a really good tip. Let's get back down there. Man, did you hear that? I think he was... Alright, it's that time of night where you just come along with us and catch some fish. We're gonna start this thing we just call intermission or whatever.
Nice fish.
That's a nice one, Jack, right?
Nice fish.
Well, Jack's over here, cameraman's over here just slaying them tonight. Had to put the camera on the tripod. And then I had to put the camera on the tripod. Crappie's on fire tonight, gentlemen. Like I said, we're just using some minnows, man. You know, we lost one muskie. He came in here and just screwed everything up.
Oh, my
You can
God.
see that on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm all tangled up here. I think sometimes I spend more time getting out tangled than I do anything. You know? Oh, he swallowed it, huh, Jack?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alright, we're gonna get down there. Get down there about 10 feet. I'm gonna try to get below. Get me some guard crappie. If it even makes it down there. Uh-oh, Jack. I think I might make it down there.
Took the hook.
Took the hook.
Oh yeah.
Did he really? Yeah, I got a hook. Right here in this tackle box. I
wonder if I can catch a muskie on that, guys.
Yeah, ain't nothing on there, huh?
Yeah.
We've been doing pretty good with these muskies. I like fishing lakes that got muskie in them. Like it a lot. Keeps them crappies in check. It keeps them small ones down. You know? Here, grab it right off my thumb. There you go. Nice hook. Keeps them. Ooh, did he get me? Yes, he did get me. Sucker got me. Keeps them smaller fish down, you know? Get those crappies that, you know, and they don't get a lot of pressure. And there's really no predators in the lake. You get, you know, you get stunt growth.
Just had a muskie roll.
Yeah. Muskie roll, huh? See, they're coming right up to that light, man. They really are. You know? Coming right up to that light. I like that light. But they only bite down deep. They can't get them to bite up high. Unless you're, you know, that 2 to 4 foot off that bottom. They won't bite. What?
They come up and roll like that, and then off they go with it.
Muskies are strange fish. They do weird stuff, man.
That's a white bass.
They really do. There we go. Robbie. Another white bass. Yeah. White bass ain't real deep. I only catch them like, you know, 3 to 4 foot under that light. They ain't real deep for some reason. We got, what is that, a catfisherman over there? Catfisherman spawn right now, boys.
Yeah.
Over there. Behind us. That might be a nighttime muskie fisherman. Might have watched my videos. Outdoor University. Nighttime muskie, you ain't gonna see that anywhere. There's a lot of you guys that do this, you know, think, oh, that was just a fluke. Or, oh, they got snapped off by a big muskie. Oh, that's just a fluke. It ain't a fluke.
No.
They're down there, and they're down there for a reason. And you can catch them. You know?
Four.
Yep. I mean, we're usually good for one a night. Either get broke off. I mean, we've been, what, broke off?
Yeah.
4 times already?
Yeah.
Not tonight, but the other night we broke off like, I mean, seriously, dude. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there.
Oh, that's a
Gentlemen, that's what I am looking for.
That's an eater.
That's an eater. Man, he inhaled that.
Yeah.
And that's with that little piece of glow-in-the-dark grub. Come on now. Easy, buddy. That's with that little piece of glow-in-the-dark grub. I find it works. You know, I like to change up on it, man.
Yeah.
You know? I don't want them to get conditioned. And another thing is, don't fish the same spot, guys. Don't keep fishing that spot. Don't keep fishing that spot and take crappies and take crappies and take crappies, because you'll destroy that spot. Have 4 or 5 spots that you do, because this technique is a really good technique for a lot of eater crappies. In one night you can fill your freezer. You know what I'm saying? here where we're at, it's 30 fish. I mean, you can fill your freezer in one night. You know what I'm saying? So we try. They just biting that dead jig laying down there. That dead spoon. We try to not kill the same spot. Like on the next video, on video 3, this is video 2 in the series, we'll be out at Mosquito. Unless the weather dictates, we can go to Milton.
Milton's nice.
Milton's a really nice lake. It's got muskie in it too, and I find that this pattern works there too. This pattern does work there too. And I find that when that wind starts to pick up a little bit too, is when those muskies start getting excited.
Yeah.
Yep. That one we caught the other night, that wind was, you know, blowing. That was a really nice fish. Ooh, missed him. You know, it's not always about teaching and stuff like that. You know, we like to take you guys along sometimes and just hear what, you know, me and the cameraman talk about. You know, this cameraman learns a lot from me. It's not just me, from everybody, all the pro staff here at Outdoor University. We got people working behind the scenes that do a lot of different things. We're coming out with a lot of things. We're coming out with a line of lures. We're coming out with a line of rods. You know, we're coming out with a lot of information. We're coming out with our own signature lights. Ooh, that was not a crappie. That felt like a little smallmouth. And I do catch smallmouth by this dam every once in a while. That felt like a smallmouth, bro. Yeah, it did. That hit like a smallmouth bass. Huh. I'd like to catch a couple smallmouth bass. I caught a freaking 7-pound smallmouth bass here about 2 years ago.
Wow.
At night. But we were using shiners. We were doing this with shiners.
Yeah.
We were using, the true turns were bigger. We were using shiners for them. So we was doing something totally different. We were actually targeting largemouth and smallmouth because there are bass that hang on these walls. Don't let that fool you. Your big bass are deep, gentlemen. You're gonna have, you know, guys tell you, your bass they're at the shore, they're hiding behind trees and this and that. Dude, let me tell you something, man. After the spring and after spawn, don't bother fishing shallow water for big bass. I don't. Well, that was a lot of fun, guys. I had a blast, and I hope you did. Ooh, it just got. And I hope you did too. We caught some white bass tonight. We caught a lot of crappies tonight, and we got snapped off by a muskie tonight. One thing I want you to remember about summertime reservoir crappies is it's a lot of fun, but you gotta be careful, guys, okay? Don't kill your spots. Find different spots in the lake. That way you can rotate your spots and you can alternate your spots, or even in different lakes if you live in that area. That we're blessed here where I live. We have probably 15, 16 reservoirs where I'm at. So we're extremely blessed where I'm at. But don't kill your spots. Go find yourself 4 or 5 spots on one lake, 4 or 5 spots on another lake. Alternate, rotate lakes. 1 year spend on this lake, and next year spend on this lake, then next year spend on another lake. That way, the fish that you did take from the first lake have replenished. It's really good to do that, because I learned when I was younger that you could actually hurt spots, not lakes. You know, reservoirs are too big for one man to hurt, but spots. Certain spots, because these fish don't go down at that end of the lake. Those fish don't come on down here. All right. So, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna call it a night, guys. All right. I want you to remember something. Please, please, please take a kid fishing. Small carbon footprint. I'm Charles Mills with Outdoor University, and I will see you on the water.